my goals with my food storage is to replace the things I've bought with things that I've produced myself. Now I know that I can't grow and can everything, but peanut butter was something that I thought I might be able to pull off. I live in Virginia and they grow a lot of peanuts here, but I've never seen them grown in my area, so I wasn't sure if my soil would work or not. Since I didn't want to waste a lot of garden space on something that might not work, I decided to use space that was wasted in the first place. So I tilled up the path between 2 rows and I planted the peanuts in them. If you look closely between the 2 rows of cabbage, you'll see that I have peanuts growing there. It worked out very well. By the time the peanuts were large enough that they needed more room, I had pulled the cabbage out and it gave the peanuts room to grow. Here I have them growing between rows of potatoes and lettuce, and by the time they needed more room, the potatoes and lettuce were gone. When you plant peanuts, the soil needs to be good and warm. If you plant them too soon, they will rot. The first time I planted them too soon, and indeed they rotted. The second time I planted them on May 1st, and they came up just fine. What I did was I bought a bag of raw peanuts. They have to be raw. And I shelled them out and planted them about 3 inches deep. The peanuts were some of the most interesting plants I've ever grown. They are bushy, they get about 18 inches tall, and they'll bloom, they get pollinated, then the bloom falls off. Then the stem of the bloom will start to get long, and the pollinated end will burrow down into the ground, and a peanut forms on the end. That process is called pegging. Next year when my peanuts start pegging, I think I'm going to throw some loose dirt up around the plants to help them along a little bit. This is one of the peanut plants after I pulled it up. You can see how the peanuts grow at the end of the stem. Good return from one peanut. I dug them in the middle of October. It turns out I can grow peanuts. This is what was left of the bag that I planted on May 1st. And here are the peanuts that I ended up with. This bucket was about 3/4 of the way full, but we've eaten some. Now that I've shown you the thrill of victory, I'm going to tell you about the agony of defeat. I kept the peanuts in this bucket with the lid off, and they did just fine. At some point, a lid found its way onto this bucket, and when I came out last week, I found that these peanuts have started to mildew, and I'm going to have to throw them out. The wheat grinder I bought has additional grinding wheels for making nut butters, so I want to see if I can make peanut butter with that grinder or not. So I bought a bag of peanuts and shelled them out, and let's see if it works. I put some peanuts in the hopper and turning the crank, and it turns effortlessly. At first I didn't think I was doing anything at all, but I see I'm getting peanut butter. So it really does work. The peanuts were supposed to be freshly roasted, but these are some I bought in a bag, some roasted peanuts, and I picked up a bag of salted by mistake. So I don't know if that makes any difference. It's going to be some salty peanut butter involved, but it's working. It's good and creamy too. I'm surprised. I expected it to be kind of chunky. Nice creamy peanut butter. So it was as advertised. Pretty good deal. So if you have a long growing season where you live, you might want to think about growing some peanuts. They were very easy to grow. I just shelled out some raw peanuts, planted a peanut just like that, 3 inches in the ground. Went back in October, pulled them up, and you need to let the peanuts dry in the sun for a few days and then pick them off of the plant. And after that, I washed the dirt off of them and spread them out on screens to dry, and then I put them in that bucket. Next year I'm going to put them in some burlap bags for sure and hang them from the ceilings. So looks like Peter Pan's going to have to get along without me. This is pretty cool, actually. It's amazing how easy this crank turns. It feels like I'm doing nothing. I hope you can see. See how greasy that is? That's peanut oil. So another one of my projects is going to be finding out how to extract this peanut oil so that I can replace the oils in my food storage. So if any of you know how to do that, I'd appreciate it if you let me know in the comments section. Well, there it is, homemade peanut butter. Between this and my crab apple trees, we can have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.